Hey everyone, Ashley Mailloux, Mike Beer here, taking a look at the race of the day for Wednesday, November 12th. It's going to be race 8 out at Churchill Downs. They have a 9-race program. Race 8, pretty nice allowance optional claiming event for the 3-year-olds and upward. It's on the main track at 1 mile and a 16th. And as we take a look at the names here, Mike, it's an interesting group in the fact that some of them we haven't seen in quite some time, and maybe at some point in their careers there were higher hopes for them, but still competitive at this level.
Yeah, this is a pretty good race. As you point out, maybe there's still a chance that some of them pan out, but for the most part, these horses have had their chances and aren't going to be stakes horses, but they still fit really well in a race like this. And it kind of feels like the shorter prices on the morning line can make reasonable cases for all of them.
Take a look at the Time Form US pace projection. And in this field of 8, horses that can maybe be involved early pretty much would agree with this. Based on Neon Knights, what we've seen, regardless if it's Colonial or not Colonial, right? This is a horse that's been forward. And then have to think Resilience from the outside could be forward. I'd have to think, though, that the 5 probably a touch quicker than others in here.
I think he can make the lead in this race for sure. Whether it makes a real difference as far as his chances or not, I'm not so sure about that. The main takeaway for me was he'll probably make the lead. The horses that he's going to have to beat, though, namely sort of horses like the 1, 2, 3, and 8, they're all pretty tactical. I don't think they're going to be compromised by the pace.
You mentioned tactics here. Tactical would be the number 3, Sir Greyland, who also has the late pace flag attached to him. We will kick it off with the number 1, Big Blue Line here for the Dutro Barn. Was on the turf last time out. That was at Kentucky Downs. We always draw a line through that, even though I think the waters were deep. I think it's the dirt form at Saratoga. You might be able to speak more to it, Mike, but I think both of those performances were quite good, even the defeat 2 back.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't care about the last race necessarily, and the win at Saratoga 3 back. I know it was an off-turf race, but he went turf to dirt that day and ran a really good race. He got a great trip in that race, but he also really ran well in there to outfinish a heavy favorite in there, and Certified Lover Boy, who was in great form at that time. So I don't know. I liked that win. He was only second best in the race 2 starts back, but Film Star is a nice horse, and Film Star was loose on the lead that day. So I don't know. His overall form is solid. He's got a great post here. He's going to get another good trip in this race. And I just thought he was a super logical contender at a fair price on the morning line.
Very fair. I thought 5-1 was a nice price on Big Blue Line. The number 2, Passion Rules. We'll take a look at his most recent performance, and maybe he's one of the horses that you mentioned, Mike. Maybe still has good things ahead of him. We go back to his last out all the way back in April, just his 4th start of his career. All of his races coming during his 3-year-old season, and it's in the Wood Memorial. And in terms of the trip that he got, I thought this was an okay performance. I didn't think this was great. Maybe okay is being a little bit harsh, but he was making up some ground late.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I thought he was fine in this race. He didn't do anything special, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. He was still very lightly raced at that time. It was a race, the Wood Memorial, that was just dominated on the lead by Rodriguez. And it did come back, a fast race at that time with a triple-digit buyer for the winner. And this horse, of course, improved to the 92. I mean, he's the kind of horse who, when I see him at 2-1 on the morning line, off of a layoff, facing some, pretty solid older horses, and he really only has one figure that I think it's okay to be a little skeptical about it. I'm not interested in this horse at 2-1, but he's got some upside.
The number 3, Sir Greyland, this one for Kenny McPeak, a very consistent horse, yet to miss out of the top 3, and a horse that I think might get the right setup in here, especially if horses go. We don't think they can stay on the front end. He should be in striking range, and there's some upside. I know he was defeated last time out, Mike, as the favorite, but look at his start 2 back, how far back it was in February.
Yeah, he was off. Was he off a layoff last time? But he also, anybody can go back, I guess, and watch the replay of that race and sort of draw their own conclusions. But I'm not so sure that even though he lost as the favorite, I'm not sure he didn't run the best race that day. Just sort of caught behind horses all the way around the final turn, and he just could not improve his position. He got into the clear on the stretch, and he really ran, but it was just way too late to make up all the ground that he had lost around the turn. So I thought he ran really well off the layoff, and he could certainly move forward here.
The number 4, Urban Planner, going to try something new off the long layoff. He's yet to try the dirt, and Street Boss, he should be fine on the dirt. And you can see the mare, an AP Indy mare. I guess my concern really wasn't the surface as much as just kind of looking at the wins at Turfway and the trips that he got in those, and now factoring the layoff. I mean, you'll get value, but I don't know what you thought of him, Mike.
Yeah, just one of those races where he's hard to make a case for unless you just want to take the position that he's going to be way better on dirt than he is on synthetic and turf. But I guess if you're right about that, you're going to get paid. But I don't like this horse.
The 5 Neon Knights we saw in the Timeform US pace projection could be involved early. I think he really does have one way of going, or at least one way of going to try to put himself in the mix, looking at his wins. They've basically been gate to wire in all of them. I guess my concern is he comes off a win where he gets a good fig, but it's extremely speed favoring track there at Colonial.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a totally different kind of race too. There, sort of 1 turn mile at Colonial. Now they're going to stretch him out against better horses going 2 turns. I understand that he might be the main speed in here, and maybe he'll just get clear around the first turn. But to me, just being the best speed in the race isn't going to be good enough unless you're going to be competitive with the horses you're running against. And I don't think that's the case with this horse.
The number 6, Duke of Duval, seemed to wake up a little bit at Ellis Park. You can see the 2 starts there this year. Ended up being winning ones. Last time out, though, at Churchill, going 1.125 miles. I don't know what you thought of the performance. I know he sort of chased throughout in there, but still would have liked to seen a little bit more in deep stretch.
Yeah, we agree on this horse. I mean, he faced a couple of these same horses last time. To me, I just didn't see the excuse for him in there. I understand that his prior 2 races were sort of pointed him out as a horse moving in the right direction. I didn't like his last race.
The 7, Treble Clef, now in the barn of Norm Cassie, a horse that last seen in the Battery Park. That was the first start in some time. Now makes another start here off a little bit of a freshening for the new connections. Kind of went back through his form, and I know there are figures there that are good and maybe put him in the mix here. I just don't like the way that he kind of finished in those races. He's still well defeated.
Yeah, that's my problem with him too. Yeah, he got some figures, but in races where he just wasn't really competitive, and just races that came back fast. And so, if you're, within 5 lengths of a horse at the finish in a fast race, I guess you're going to get a good fig too. But I wanted to see him, be like he was competitive in those races, and I didn't think that he was.
And then the 8, Resilience, going to round out the field. I guess I'll start with my pros. I like where he's drawn. I like that he has some early foot. What I don't like is the fact that I don't trust him. I kind of look at his last couple, and I just don't get this feeling that he's a horse that I can bet with confidence. And I certainly can't do that. You talked about the 2 in here being 2-1 at 3-1. I don't know if I really want any part of him.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I mean, I thought this horse was a good 3, like a sort of an underrated 3-year-old. I kind of expected him to come back this year and really move forward at 4, and it just hasn't happened. He was, defeated as the favorite last time. I didn't get an excuse that day. Even less of an excuse 2 starts back when he earned the 90 Beyer speed figure. I don't know how he didn't win that race, but he didn't get by. I've kind of had enough of him. I mean, I guess if you just want to say, listen, he was the favorite last time and it didn't work out, but he won't be the favorite this time, I guess. But I still would want more than 3-1.
I'd be very curious to see how this race is played. Don't forget, this is the Wednesday race of the day, race number 8, free pass performances on the DRF website. It's an interesting card at Churchill. They do have a couple of turf races planned as well. And also don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So I think it's clear we're not going to take the 2 or the 8. The question is, who do you use there? And similar thought process. It's the same top 4, their standouts. But you go to the 3, Sir Greyland here for Kenny McPeak.
Yeah, I like your top pick. I think he's really interesting, but I'm going to go with Sir Greyland. Again, he was off the layoff last time. I really did not like the trip that he pulled in that race, and I thought he ran actually really well there. Hopefully he takes a step forward here second off the layoff.
Yeah, he certainly should, based on what we saw last time out. I do go to the 1 in here, Big Blue Line. I thought this horse was a little bit more sneaky. We'll see how this horse is played. I think any piece of 5-1 I want. If this horse is overbet, maybe to be a little bit more cautious about, but I loved the efforts at Saratoga. So 3-1, 8-2 for Mike, 1-2, 3-8 for me. It's race number 8 this Wednesday at Churchill. Good luck.